We've talked about James Bond No Time to Die a lot. One, because it's been delayed so much. It's been delayed nearly 2 years at this point. But we've also been talking about it because of the people that are involved. When we realized that Lashana Lynch was going to very much be a focal point of this, that they were going to make her the new 007 after James Bond had been out of MI6. We also were worried when Phoebe Waller-Bridge got brought on to rewrite this movie and make it acceptable for the Me Too era. And Bond, as we know it, may very well be dead with all the things that have come out about this. But now we have some projections for the box office. Now, as we know, sometimes box office projections can go a little bit wrong. Sometimes they can be a little bit off. But right now, this is what people are seeing for James Bond No Time to Die, which needs to make like $800 million fucking dollars to even break even, which is nuts to me. Box office tracking website Box Office Pro recently released their long-range tracking predictions for the upcoming James Bond film, No Time to Die. Box Office Pro claims the film could have the largest domestic opening weekend. They predict it will earn between 56 and 85 million. The current holder would be Black Widow with 80 million and Shang-Chi with 75 million. The rest of the top five are The Fast Saga, or F9 at 70, A Quiet Place, and Jungle Cruise. The fact that Jungle Cruise only at 35 million and it's the fifth is absolute insanity. Insanity. Now, just on the surface, I do think there's a chance that it has the biggest one. You know, it's not going to be available on a streaming service. James Bond is a massive fucking franchise. The last two movies, I think, made very close to $1 billion, if not over $1 billion for at least one of them, either Skyfall or Spectre. Real close. So it wouldn't surprise me if it did hit that number. But will it, I guess, is really the question. Do we think that everything that they have done has had an impact on it? What would the opening weekend have been if we hadn't had delayed for 2 years because of COVID? What would it have been if we hadn't had these people continuing to run their mouths over and over and over again, like Lashana Lynch saying that the reaction to being a black person cast was the same as segregation, that it was like the civil rights era all over again? No, I don't think it really had anything to do with you being black. It had a lot to do with someone taking the 007 role that wasn't James Bond. You could have been white, you could have been Asian, you could have been a black man, like whatever, right? But the idea that they're promoting as the new 007, and then of course it's supposed to be a black female to kind of subvert our expectations, that's what it was about. You're not getting backlash simply because you're a black woman in a James Bond franchise. We've had that. I don't think Halle Berry got a whole lot of backlash for being Jinx simply because she was black with Pierce Brosnan in that movie. No, because it doesn't fucking happen. That's not something that actually happens in society. What does happen are fans look at source material. Fans look at things and they say, why would you do that? Why are you virtue signaling? Why are you deciding to make this change this way when it's clear they're putting identity politics ahead of the story? And then we had, what was it? Where's Daniel Craig? Right here. Daniel Craig even reversed course from what he had said before. He used to be like, you know what? I think that maybe anybody could be James Bond. Now, in an effort to do damage control, they realize he can't afford to say something like that. So he says, no, I think that James Bond should always be a man. Why don't you make other great roles for women and people of color? That's what we've been saying the entire time. Daniel Craig, you sound exactly like us over here on YouTube, simply saying that, you know what? If you want to have these roles, you should create those roles. You should create an awesome story for the character that you want. If you want this character to be gay, if you want this character to be black, if you want this character to be trans, whatever it may be, you should create those characters and stop trying to push everything into properties that are already beloved. Stop trying to take things and tear them down in an effort to replace them because someone looks like you or wants to fuck the same person you want to fuck. That's absolute insanity. And it was all culminated, of course, by the director. The director saying that James Bond was a rapist. That's what he said. He said James Bond raped people. We can't have things like that now. He has to change for the modern audience. We have to change the way we tell the stories around him because he's a straight white male, and that's not okay. So what kind of effect is all this nonsense going to have on the box office? Right now, it looks like it still potentially could have the biggest, but 56 to 85, like that's a big, Big margin. So it could be the top, or it could be, you know, like the fourth best opening. This movie has so much money to make up. $300 million budget. That's not counting before they did all the reshoots, before they did all this stuff, before they marketed it 3 or 4 times as they kept delaying it. The predictions are somewhere between 800 and 900 million fucking dollars this movie needs to make. Now, Bond movies do great internationally. They always have. They do pretty well in China a lot of the times. This movie will be out in China. But the damage that has been done by deciding to bring these people in to try to change who James Bond inherently is, between that, between the comments of the actors, the comments of the directors, it might be too much for James Bond. And this truly might be the last. Well, we might have already seen the last James Bond movie, because from this point forward, it's anyone's guess how they want to destroy this character. Thanks for watching, everyone. And a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.